Hello and welcome to episode 4. My name is Chris Molyneux, and in this episode we're going to be doing the Honey and Mumford learning styles. Okay, so with this I'm going to need maximum participation with yourselves, and the beauty of it being a video is that you can pause it. If you miss anything you can rewind it. If you've done it before you can skip over it. So yeah, let's get started. So the devil is in the detail with this exercise, okay? But we need a checklist first. First of all, you need a pen, pencil, some writing utility, okay? Piece of paper, ideally A4 in size. If it's lined, great. If it's plain, this works anyway, okay? Ideally, no distractions. So if you have got kids in the vicinity, all right, you can either get them involved. I'd probably say from the age of 13 upwards is the best option. Okay, anything younger than that, they just start eating the paper after 5 minutes into it. And what I'd like you to do is give me your initial honest answers when you're doing it. All right, don't overthink it too much. The easiest way to explain that is if you agree more with a statement, do a circle around that number. If you disagree with more than that statement, then cross that number out. That's all I want you to do. Okay, so this is gonna possibly take us around 10 to 15 minutes to complete. All right, there is no right or wrong. Basically, this is a reaction to a statement, whether you agree or you disagree. Like I said, if you agree more, circle the number of the question that we're on. If you disagree more, cross it out. That's all I want. At the end, I will explain the results of what the scores are. What I would like you to do though is, if you haven't already had a chance to do so already, is pause the video and on your piece of paper is write down these number sequences in the order as you see them. Okay, so please make sure that they stay in their respective columns. This will make sense in a little while. So if you'd like to pause the video now. I'm guessing you've unpaused it now because you can still hear my voice, and we're going to start over again now. So, as an example, whatever question that we are on, what I've done is, because the numbers are all over the place, I've put a red arrow next to the number that we're on, just so you can find it a little bit quicker as we're moving through this exercise. If, however, let's say question 1, you agree with that statement, all I would like you to do is put a circle around it. We then move on to question 2 and you disagree more, cross it out. And then what we're going to do is fill this entire sheet out, and then at the end we will discuss the results. Okay, does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Let's get this show on the road. Question 1. Question 1. I have strong beliefs about what is right and wrong, good and bad. Question 2. I often act without considering the possible consequences. Question 3. I tend to solve problems using a step-by-step approach. Question 4. I believe that formal procedures and policies restrict people. Question 5. I have a reputation for saying what I think simply and directly. Question 6. I often find that actions based on feelings are as sound as those based on careful thought and analysis. Question 7. I like the sort of work where I have time for thorough preparation and implementation. Question 8. I regularly question people about their basic assumptions. Question 9. What matters most is whether something works in practice. Question 10. I actively seek out new experiences. Question 11. When I hear about a new idea or approach, I immediately start working out how to apply it in practice. Question 12. I am keen on self-discipline, such as watching my diet, taking regular exercise, sticking to a fixed routine, etc. Question 13. I take pride in doing a thorough job. Question 14. I get on best with logical, analytical people and less with spontaneous, irrational people. Question 15. I take care over the interpretation of data available to me and avoid jumping to conclusions. Question 16. I like to reach a decision carefully after weighing up many alternatives. Question 17. I'm attracted more to novel, unusual ideas than to practical ones. Question 18. I don't like disorganised things and prefer to fit things into a coherent pattern. Question 19. I accept and stick to laid down procedures and policies so long as I regard them as an efficient way of getting the job done. Question 20. I like to relate my actions to a general principle. Question 21. In discussions, I like to get straight to the point. Question 22. I tend to have distant, rather formal relationships with people at work. Question 23. I thrive on the challenge of tackling something new and different. Question 24. I enjoy fun-loving, spontaneous people. Question 25. I pay meticulous attention to detail before coming to a conclusion. Question 26. I find it difficult to produce ideas on impulse. Question 27. I believe in coming to the point immediately. Question 28. I am careful not to jump to conclusions too quickly. Question 29. I prefer to have as many sources of information as possible. The more data to mull over, the better. Question 30. Flippant people who don't take things seriously enough usually irritate me. Question 31. I listen to other people's point of view before putting my own forward. Question 32. I tend to be open about how I'm feeling. Question 33. In discussions, I enjoy watching the manoeuvrings of the other participants. Question 34. I prefer to respond to events on a spontaneous, flexible basis rather than plan things out in advance. Question 35. I tend to be attracted to techniques such as network analysis, flowcharts, branching programs, contingency planning, etc. Question 36. It worries me if I have to rush out a piece of work to meet a tight deadline. Question 37. I tend to judge people's ideas on their practical merits. Question 38. Quiet, thoughtful people tend to make me feel uneasy. Question 39. I often get irritated by people who want to rush things. Question 40. It is more important to enjoy the present moment than to think about the past or future. Question 41. I think that decisions based on a thorough analysis of all the information are sounder than those based on intuition. Question 42. I tend to be a perfectionist. Question 43. In discussions, I usually produce lots of spontaneous ideas. Question 44. In meetings, I put forward practical, realistic ideas. Question 45. More often than not, rules are there to be broken. Question 46. I prefer to stand back from a situation and consider all the perspectives. Question 47. I can often see inconsistencies and weaknesses in other people's arguments. Question 48. On balance, I talk more than I listen. Question 49. I can often see better, more practical ways to get things done. Question 50. I think written reports should be short and to the point. Question 51. I believe that rational, logical thinking should win the day. Question 52. I tend to discuss specific things with people rather than engaging in social discussion. Question 53. I like people who approach things realistically rather than theoretically. Question 54. In discussions, I get impatient with irrelevancies and digressions. Question 55. If I have a report to write, I tend to produce lots of drafts before settling on a final version. Question 56. I am keen to try things out to see if they work in practice. Question 57. I am keen to reach answers via a logical approach. Question 58. I enjoy being the one that talks a lot. Question 59. In discussions, I often find I'm the realist, keeping people to the point and avoiding wild speculations. Question 60. I like to ponder many alternatives before making up my mind. Question 61. In discussions with people, I often find that I'm the most dispassionate and objective. Question 62. In discussions, I'm more likely to adopt a low profile than to take the lead and do most of the talking. Question 63. I like to be able to relate current actions to a longer term, bigger picture. Question 64. When things go wrong, I am happy to shrug it off and put it down to experience. Question 65. I tend to reject wild, spontaneous ideas as being impractical. Question 66. It's best to think carefully before taking action. Question 67. On balance, I do the listening rather than the talking. Question 68. I tend to be tough on people who find it difficult to adopt a logical approach. Question 69. Most times I believe the end justifies the means. Question 70. I don't mind hurting people's feelings so long as the job gets done. Question 71. I find the formality of having specific objectives and plans stifling. Question 72. I'm usually one of the people who puts the life into a party. Question 73. I do whatever is expedient to get the job done. Question 74. I quickly get bored with methodical, detailed work. Question 75. I am keen on exploring the basic assumptions, principles and theories underpinning things and events. Question 76. I'm always interested to find out what people think. Question 77. I like meetings to run on a methodical lines, sticking to laid down agenda, etc. Question 78. I stay clear of subjective or ambiguous topics. Question 79. I enjoy the drama and excitement of a crisis situation. And question 80. People often find me insensitive to their feelings. So there you go. That is all 80 questions, either with a circle or a cross, depending whether you agree more with the statement or you disagree more with that statement. Okay, so what I would like you to do now is, if once I've finished explaining, is pause the video, but in each column now, what I would like you to do is to tally up how many circles that you got in that column. Okay, crosses do not score, only circles. So if you'd like to tally up each individual column and put your scores at the bottom now. Once you have got your scores at the bottom now, this is where we're going to start to reveal what this was all for and what does it lead to. So, as we reveal each column, the first column, if I'd get you to write underneath it the word activist. The second column, reflector. Third column, theorist. Fourth column, pragmatist. And then if you have a higher score in a certain column, as you can see on the screen here now, we have a score of 11 under the theorist column. That is predominantly their preferred learning style. Okay, whereas the others are very, very close in score. Okay. So to explain what means what, activists. If you are an activist, you will probably want to get involved in a project or specific assignment to develop the skills on the job. Tackling very practical, open and flexible learning programs or activity-based training courses will be most suitable for you. Activists involve themselves fully and without bias in new experiences. They enjoy the here and now and are happy to be dominated by immediate experiences. They are open-minded, not skeptical, and this tends to make them enthusiastic about anything new. Their philosophy is, I'll try anything once. They tend to act first and consider the consequences afterwards. Their days are filled with activity. They tackle problems by brainstorming. And as soon as the excitement from one activity has died down, they are busy looking for the next. They tend to thrive on the challenge of new experiences, but are bored with implementation and longer-term consolidation. They are gregarious people, constantly involving themselves with others, but in doing so, they seek to centre all activities around themselves. So there you go. If you scored very, very high in the activists, that was your definition description. Next one, reflector. If you are a reflector, you will appreciate working closely with someone experienced in this area and learning through observation and discussing your reflections and plans with a mentor. You will also learn much from books, articles, and case studies. Reflectors like to stand back to ponder experiences and observe them from many different perspectives. They collect data both firsthand and from others and prefer to think about it thoroughly before coming to a conclusion. The thorough collection and analysis of data about experiences and events is what counts, so they tend to postpone reaching a definitive conclusions for as long as possible. Their philosophy is to be cautious. They are thoughtful people who like to consider all possible angles and implications before making a move. They prefer to take a seat back in meetings and discussions. They enjoy observing other people in action. They listen to others and get the drift from the discussion before making their own points. They tend to adopt a low profile and have a slightly distant, tolerant, unruffled air about them. When they act, it's part of a wide picture which includes the past as well as the present and others. Observations as well as their own. So there you go. That is a definition description of a reflector learning style. Theorists. If you are a theorist, you will most value theory-based courses with well-qualified and experienced trainers, well-written books and articles. Theorists adapt and integrate observations into complex but logical sound theories. They think problems through in a vertical, step-by-step logical way. They assimilate disparate facts and coherent theories. They tend to be perfectionists who won't rest easy until things are tidy and fit in a rational scheme. They like to analyse and synthesise. They are keen on basic assumptions, principles, theories, models and systems thinking. Their philosophy prizes rationality and logic. Questions they frequently ask are, does it make sense? How does this fit with that? And what are the basic assumptions? They tend to be detached analytical, and dedicated to rational objectivity rather than anything subjective or ambiguous. Their approach to problems is consistently logical. This is their mental set, and they rigidly reject anything that doesn't fit with it. They prefer to maximize certainty and feel uncomfortable with subjective judgments, lateral thinking, and anything flippant. Which leaves us with the last one, pragmatists. If you are a pragmatist, you will find that practical books and open and flexible learning are good ways of quickly putting new learning into practical use. You will particularly be attracted to working on real-life projects and appreciate the help of someone who can give some valuable feedback and coaching. Pragmatists are keen on trying out ideas, theories, techniques to see if they work in practice. They positively search out new ideas and take the first opportunity to experiment with applications. They're the sort of people who return from courses brimming with new ideas that they want to try out into practice. They like to get on with things and act quickly and confidently on ideas that attract them. They tend to be impatient with ruminating and open-ended discussions. They're essentially practical, down-to-earth people who like making practical decisions and solving problems. They respond to problems and opportunities as a challenge. Their philosophy is there is always a better way, and if it works, it's good. So as it says there at the bottom, these are taken from the Honey and Mumford definitions, okay, from a learning style research paper that they conducted back in 1986. What I would also like to say though is these are not absolutes. All right, what I mean by that is that your learning style will or may change over a period of time. I know mine has. The first time I did this exercise, I was predominantly an activist, which scared me and shocked me, to be honest. It just must have been the mental state that I was in at the time. And then having done it recently, I find myself being more a pragmatist now rather than an activist. Even though the other three are very, very closely scored together, there's always seems to be that one predominant one. What I would like to say is thank you, first of all, for participating and taking part. I hope you've got something from this. If you skipped over any or wasn't able to complete it in a sequence, going back to it, the beauty of it being a video is you can just now press pause, go back to the section that you need to do it again, and then play on from there. Thank you very much. Thank you for supporting the group. And what I would really, really like is if you have any feedback, okay, good, bad, or otherwise, please drop it in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed doing something like this and you want to do some more, then, I can always find research and we can line something like that up. If it's completely pants, let me know, be cruel to be kind. And also, I'd like to leave you with this. If you got one thing from doing this exercise today, that is it. It served its purpose, and thank you very much for being part of this group. My name is Chris Molyneux, and I will see you in episode 5, which is coming very, very soon. Thank you.